This podcast may contain views and opinions which are those of the hosts and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of any local agency, organization, union, employee, or company, including the podcast.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, to Off the Clock Shop Talk. Thanks for tuning in every week. We are back online, and look who's here to join us. Welcome back, Salas.
I didn't fucking go anywhere.
Feels like we haven't had you on in a while, so
Yeah.
keep like petering in every now and
I
then.
was when I was on the last time, I wasn't feeling too good. That's
Yeah,
why
you
I-
weren't. Yeah.
It made a brief appearance. I was burning up and dying. So
I'm glad you didn't get us sick. That would have sucked.
I know. I'm glad I didn't get anybody
Yeah.
sick. But no, it's good to be back.
We're glad to have you back.
And
We missed you, and the
no,
fans
you did
missed.
not-
Yeah,
you
we
not
did.
miss me.
The fans missed you, Sawas, our comic relief.
I quit.
I quit already. You're going to
quit.
go back on
Yeah,
strike?
I'm going on strike.
All right. Well, let's get into the show. Obviously, we always say, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for the likes, shares, and subscribes. Our Instagram, make sure you guys follow us there, OCST.952. We are officially on there, and we have our giveaway.
Yep, we
Right.
have the giveaway.
So we'll talk a little bit more about the giveaway later in the show, but by the time this comes out,
It will have already happened.
it will have already happened.
So we'll talk about it more at the end.
Yeah, so we'll talk about it at the end. Again, we have no guest for the week, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
There's going to be some episodes. It's just us.
Yeah. Definitely leave some stuff in the comments or email us. Maybe for like a group that wants to organize but doesn't know exactly how to do it. Maybe they can get in touch with us, and then we can set them up with an organizer.
We definitely need some leads. We do have a hungry group of organizers that is ready to get started. I mean, shout out to Silver. He's one of those guys.
Yeah.
There's a couple people from different barns that are they got the union bug, as they say. That being said, let's jump right into the show. And this week we kind of wanted to go with a theme. The theme of the show this week is really now is the time, right? Now's the time for laborers, for unionists, for honestly just like the common man to stand up against corporate America and kind of the way things are trending with technology coming.
Automation.
Automation, all this stuff that's coming our way. And it's an uncomfortable time. It's a scary time in some respects. And then it's an exciting time in some as well. We see a lot of different groups starting to organize themselves, and kind of get together as laborers. I mean, there's a lot of groups out there. We got, Chipotle members are trying to organize.
Yep.
Starbucks members. You got people from medieval times, right?
They just organized, and they're fighting for their first contract. I think at this point it's like 115 days, I think.
Wow.
A lot.
And there's just a lot going on within the labor movement. So we kind of wanted to touch on some of that stuff. Where do we start here, George?
Let's start with Chipotle.
Chipotle. What's going on with
Chipotle? So the Teamsters are basically asking the shareholders for Chipotle to support Item 6. It's a proposal that calls the adoption of a non-interference policy in worker organizing efforts to prevent union busing at the company. So basically, the Chipotle staff joined the Teamsters Local 242. They became the first to form a union for that chain.
Okay.
So basically, Sean O'Brien said, let me put the record straight while the company stopped for a short break in law. The union and avoidance consultants, they basically held a mandatory meeting to spread misinformation, even going as far as to claim that workers would have to pay dues for life, even if they quit their job, which is total horseshit.
They would have to pay Teamster dues
For life.
For life.
For life. So it's like it's a Chipotle job, right? So most likely you're not going to be there forever. Most likely, right? So it's like they're basically
Unless you go into management.
Unless you go into management, but I mean, then you
defeat the
wouldn't.
purpose.
That would defeat the purpose. Yeah. So I don't know. I just thought that was an interesting article that Chipotle is organizing. There's a small group out there, and it was Lansing, Michigan.
And that's kind of the way it starts, right? I mean, one group of workers at a certain spot They organize, and then it's kind of like a domino effect, right?
Yeah.
And I think, us all being from UPS, it's kind of like we've taken that for granted as far as, all of UPS is our Teamsters, except in the right to work states where it's usually a percentage. And I know Sean O'Brien has been working on a lot of that internal organizing, right? So getting those members that already have the opportunity, but they're freeloaders.
Yeah, that's basically what they are. They're getting the rights without paying the dues or the time or anything.
Yeah, we talked about a lot of that with Carla, right?
With Carla.
Remember
Yeah, I
the
think a lot of
freeloaders?
that has to do with, I get the word, and this is no pointing fingers at anybody. It's the uneducated people that don't understand what it really means to be in a union, because they're told, oh, the union's just stealing your union dues.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, if you really look at it, to be honest, they get all legally. The union is required to give them the same benefits as everybody else. So it's like they're like, well, I could either pay union dues or I get the same thing for free.
So they're leaching.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah. I'm just trying to be
No, I get
nice.
I mean, I get it. I understand.
I'm just trying to be nice, and I think we need to educate our members a little bit better. And
Oh, 100%.
that whole thing that Sean talked about, internal organizing, because sometimes it takes some of these members to go through the panel system at UPS, where they actually see what their administration or their business agent's doing in those right to work states, and they're like, wow, it's either they're impressed and they want to join, or they continue to do what they've been doing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I understand why you would want to, because you get all the benefits for free, right? But at the same time, it's like you got all these people working on your behalf. And in my opinion, really, you should have separate benefits and pay rates and stuff for those in the union and outside. And that is a lot due to politics, right? That's all politicians. They kind of have made it to where these people can reap all the benefits without paying union dues. But in my opinion, in a right-to-work state, you should have a union negotiated contract, and then you should have a regular contract.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I think the company would be more apt to give them those benefits, because then it does disincentivize people from joining the union, which they don't want union workers. At the end of the day, they want to be able to drive the bus and pay you nothing.
Yeah,
right?
that's the
like
whole,
we talked about last
That's
week.
the whole thing. That's the model that basically all of corporate America is trying to follow. They're trying to get more for less. I mean,
Yeah, and as
So
we
it is.
see, like we talked about with medieval times, like they have a group that's fighting for a contract, and then not that they wanted to give necessarily bonuses or raises on the back end, but they did so they could kind of show everybody, see, we'll take care of you if you guys don't join a union. But what are they so afraid of? What really they're afraid of is all the workers getting on the same page and saying, hey, we demand this, we want this.
yeah.
If they keep the workers semi-happy who are not in the union, then it, like I said, it kind of disincentivizes them from joining, to where instead of begging for, raises or whatnot, because if there was no union, they're just asking, can we please have a raise? Now,
No peasant.
yeah. Oh yeah, there for sure. Peasant. It's a tactic.
Yeah, it definitely is a tactic.
Yeah, it just the company definitely has the incentive when there's a union around to take care of everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about the non-union workers, because they have to make sure they don't want to go union.
Yeah.
They can't make it too bad. When the union's not around, they can kind of do whatever the fuck they want to do, which they do. If you look at Amazon, you look at all these big companies who pay their employees shit, Walmart, you know what I mean? No benefits, nothing. There's no union around. They're not really worried about it.
Yeah, and
then
they
all
have
of a
huge
sudden-
layoffs and shit.
Yeah, and all of a sudden one comes in and starts trying to organize, and they'll either fire the employees, which like they're trying to do at Amazon,
Yeah.
and either they'll fire the employees or they'll give the other employees raises and tell the people that want to organize. Well, you could get these raises if you stop trying to be union.
Yeah. It's dog shit.
Yeah.
It really is.
I mean, let's talk a little bit about that. So Amazon, right? They had a group that organized in LA. I think
630?
What is it? No, it's 396 out in Victor country.
Yeah, Palmdale, I think.
Yeah, I think it's Palmdale. They had a group of drivers organized, became Teamsters, got a contract, and now Amazon's going to fire them. I mean,
how many members is that?
In essence, I think there's like 40-something drivers, if I'm correct. I mean, we're hopefully next week we'll have someone on to discuss that. That's the tentative plan at this point. Back to firing them, they're not technically firing them. They're just going to remove their contract. Because that's what's so hard about the Amazon organizing in general is that they subcontract everything. Like they have warehouse workers, but they also, have most of the drivers, and I believe they do have a handful of drivers that actually work for Amazon, but most of the drivers are subcontracted. They'll offer a contract and a delivery company or a a courier service or whatever. They'll kind of take over that contract. But at any time, they could say, oh, well, we're removing our contract. We don't, you're not going to be part of our contract anymore, or we're not going to give you any more work. So that model kind of is horrible when you're trying to organize somebody, because you organize a group and then they just
fire everybody.
Fire that group.
If you would think that, like, if you would be more public about that, and I know I've seen like there was a video, I think it was like 5 months ago, where they laid off like 1,000 or 1,000, 10,000. It was like a huge number of work.
Oh yeah, I did see that video.
They just basically laid off an incredible amount of people.
And I think on that video that I saw it on YouTube, just like everybody else.
It was on YouTube.
Those guys, there was no warning. They came to work and they were like, "Oh, you guys are fired.
You're fired.
Like
give me your vest."
10,000 people. Yeah, something crazy like that.
Maybe a link to that.
Can you imagine walking into work and they're just like, "Oh, you guys are fired today."
All of you.
Yeah.
But Bob can stay.
It would have been more funny if they did it after the shift.
Damn, that's cold-blooded.
Which they do. I mean, I've seen, employees do that. They'll let you work your shift, and then they'll call you in at the end of the day and be like, "Oh, you're fired." Oh, yeah, Dick, you couldn't fire me in the morning when I got here?
Yeah. Could have went right to breakfast and had a beer.
One more day out of you.
We need an extra.
Our other guy starts tomorrow.
Hours.
So
that's some dog shit.
Yeah, but that's the kind of shit we're dealing with. It's just like I said, it's kind of like the theme. We're fighting against corporate America. They're in it for profits. It is what it is, and with technology coming,
it's gross though. The amount of profits that they make, the amount of profits they make, and they don't even want to give like the people that make them money, like just even simple benefits, so that way they're not paying an arm and a leg when they go to the doctor or when they have to take their kids in. Like,
and I mean, not believe me, not all companies are making like insane amount of profits, and I think
that's true.
Dealing in union business, like you kind of see that sometimes companies, they'll show you their books. They'll be like, "Look, this is what we're making. We're struggling,"
and that's fair.
And I know that it's happened in freight, right, where a company will basically say like, "Look, here's our books. We're gonna fucking go out of business. Like we're not making any money, right? So if you guys slam us with a crazy contract or crazy request for raises or whatever, it's not sustainable." And I understand that to an extent, but these giant companies like Amazon, like UPS, like Walmart, they're just making insane profits. They just don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
they don't.
It's dog shit.
Got anything for
dog
us?
Shit.
Dog shit.
I guess I've been gone for a while. I guess that's the new word around here.
Well, I mean, George had to try to be the comic relief, and he just decided he's.
I didn't spend as much time at clown college as you. So.
That's why you're getting fired today.
Damn.
After the episode too,
Sawas comes back. Yeah, after this episode, Sawas comes back and he's like, "Executive decision: George was fired."
Yeah. I see you trying to sit in my seat.
Oh shit! He did mention that last week. He was like, "What the fuck is George doing in my seat?"
I didn't say exactly like that, but
He said,
that's what
he's messing up my ass groove.
I'm like, he belongs over there in his chair.
That's funny. Next time I'll sit there then.
So what's up, Sauce? Let's talk about a little lighter note. What have you been up to on your hiatus?
No, just you gotta spend some time with the family, and that's where I've been.
good.
And
Yeah,
we've talked about this in the past. We spend a lot of time doing what we do for work, and then I took a little vacation and just
Good.
honestly just took care of things I haven't been able to do.
how was
do
vacation?
anything,
By the way?
Did you do anything fun?
I mean, I was still taking phone calls, but it was nice just to get some stuff done and spend some time with the family, and that's what I was doing. There was just a lot of stuff that that got put on the back burner that I need to get done, and so got a lot of that stuff done. I look forward to being back next week. We got meetings scheduled for the feeder department and for the Twilight in Anaheim, and trying to get all that stuff done, and so I'll be back on the grind. And it was nice. It was good. Take a little time. I think everybody needs to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. Vacation. I haven't taken a vacation in forever.
It was my first one in 2 years. So when we're on the truck, I used to take vacation all the time.
I actually have a vacation coming up in June.
Yeah.
Nice.
Shit, Sauce didn't even work on the truck.
Had a lot of
Our
time.
days.
Took a lot of our days. But a lot of those our days was here. I was here at the hall.
Yeah, that's true.
I was here
We'll
at the
give you
hall, and just getting involved and doing whatever they needed me to do. Sometimes it was just, can you help us set up the hall or whatever, So there's always something you could do to help out your local union.
Yeah.
To get involved. That's what I seen in the past with somebody else, and I kind of just followed that suit. So there's always something to do. I've had a couple stewards, take some time off and come in and, help me do some stuff.
I've noticed that a lot. I mean, the guys that catch the union bug, like,
Yeah.
dude, I have people on vacation. Shout out again to James Placentia.
Yeah.
He was on vacation. Dude was at the strike line almost every day.
Yeah, he was.
I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, he was. I got to give it to James for that. He was on vacation and he was out there. It's pretty amazing to see people, take the time to do those things and on their off time.
We all need a vacation. I need a vacation. I want to go fishing.
Yeah. You always talk about it. I'm sure that's something that you look forward to when you get the chance.
I'm dying.
When was the last time you went fishing?
Last time I went fishing, probably almost 2 years ago.
Damn.
Probably almost 2 years ago, yeah.
For you, that's crazy.
I mean, it is, because, I used to be fishing
Because you used to always be on the water.
And granted, there's some stuff that happened, and I don't know about, anybody that knows fishing in the Southern California world, but you have the summer season is usually offshore fishing, right? You're deep sea fishing, you're doing all that stuff. And that's kind of always there every summer. Now, the wintertime, you do trout fishing for me. Some guys will do other stuff, but like for the most part, it's trout fishing. And we had a lot of lakes out here. We had Corona Lake, what's the other? Laguna Niguel. They had a lake out there that was great. They had Irvine Lake.
Yeah.
And Santa Ana River Lakes, which is like a freaking mud hole, and it's disgusting. It's right by the freeway. If you guys drive down the 91, like right before the 57, you'll see it. It's just a mud hole, and it's right by the freeway.
Oh, I've been there before. Yeah, it's gross.
And granted, like they put some good fish in there or whatever, but it's just it's elbow to elbow. It's not like you don't get the the scenery. And
that's why I liked Irvine.
Like at Irvine Lake was awesome, right? Like, so they used to put great fish in there. Irvine ran into some issues with insurance. They,
I
think it opened up for a little bit, right?
No, it's open now, but so if people don't know, it used to be leased. So it was leased by a company from the Irvine company who owns the place, and they, have to carry insurance, and they basically would bring in their own fish. They'd stock the lake with nice trout, and they had big catfish in there, and they would stock the lake with catfish every year, and then they charged people a fee to come in and fish. That was the model, right? Lease it, and then, to be honest, some drunk guys fell off a damn boat and drowned. And it was their fault. They were freaking wasted. They fell off a boat and drowned and then sued. And then the same thing happened, like, I want to say like 3 years later. Somebody else wasted, fell off the boat, drowned, and they sued. And Irvine Lake, whoever was leasing Irvine Lake, couldn't handle it anymore, and they were going to lose their insurance. And sucks, dude. Sucks. They ruined it for everybody.
They fucked it up for everyone.
Yeah. So there was that. Then we had Lagoon Niguel Lake, which was nice. I don't know if you've ever been there.
Not to that one, no.
It's still there, obviously. It's at a regional park, but they had the same model. They leased it from the city. The problem that they were having was that the city, since they leased the lake, the city, like, they have a lot of rains over there during the winter, and like a lot of trees fall and just all kinds of crazy shit, right?
Yeah.
It just gets real dirty, and they weren't getting any help from the city as far as like cleaning up their, they don't own the park. So they're like, hey, we need some help. You guys got to maintain what we're leasing.
Can you get that fucking tree out of the lake,
Yeah.
please?
They're like, can you guys take care of what we're leasing from you? And they ended up just letting it go. So Irvine now and Laguna Niguel are both stocked by DFG, which is the Department of Fish and Game, right? And the Department of Fish and Game, for those that know fishing, they stock little trout like this big, like,
Yeah, but
And
the whole idea is that eventually they'll grow, right?
No. In Southern California, we don't really have lakes, at least in Southern California. We don't have lakes that stay cold enough
For them to grow?
for them to grow. Okay. So it's literally they're there for a season, and then they'll die off when the water gets too hot. Now, there are a couple lakes that do. They're, like Big Bear Lake, Arrowhead, Diamond Valley. They're super deep, so the fish will go deep, and it's cold enough down there. But for the most part, the lakes that I'm referring to, there's not very many holdovers. In Irvine, there was.
I heard there was a big-ass catfish in there.
There's big-ass catfish. Yeah, definitely. I think their record is like 89 pounds.
That's fucking
catfish.
huge.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy, right? Big-ass catfish.
Fuck, dude. It's huge.
So back to the other lake. The other lake was Corona Lake. That place was super nice. I used to love fishing that lake. I have my personal best out of that lake. 13.6 pound.
That's pretty big.
Rainbow trout.
Yeah.
Thing was like this big, dude.
Pretty fucking big.
Freaking nice. Biggest one to date for me. But that lake, kind of the same issues. They had some issues with a guy that lived at the top of the hill. I guess he owned the rights to the spring that fed into Corona Lake.
Yeah.
And he was pissed off about people being there, so he kind of shut that off, from what I understand. And
shut off the spring.
Yeah, I don't know what he did, but
he turned off the water valve.
Basically, the lake started dropping. It was super low, and then they made up some stuff about the dam being not trustworthy, because there's a dam.
There's a dam right there.
But the lake's full right now, and no one does anything. So anyway, so we lost all those 3 lakes, and all that's left in Southern California in this area is fucking that mud hole, Santa Ana River Lakes.
The mud hole. It is pretty gross.
But yeah, to your point, I wish I could go fishing. I want to go fishing. I gotta take a drive out to Mammoth or Bishop pretty soon here. I'm gonna drag Sawas along with me.
Like to fish?
Mm-mm.
No. I like to do it. I don't ever get a chance to really go. So
He likes to drink, so he'll catch a buzz.
You just talked about all the people drowning.
Do
you not know how to swim?
Dude. They were on boats.
We can sit on the shoreline and drink.
Oh,
Yeah, we can fish from shore. I'm good with that. I'll stick you on a float tube.
Put some floaties
Little
on.
rubber ducky.
No, I actually have like a really nice, I think it was like freaking $500. It's like a $500 float tube. You just sit in it, and you're sitting like above the water. You're basically like your legs are in the water right here, and you just float around. And you have like flippers, and you just kick. and you fish off your freaking flow tube. It's fun, dude. Super fun.
Sounds cool.
Yeah.
He's so not into it.
You're
So not
comic
into
relief
it.
today.
So not into it.
Anyways,
Yeah.
vacations, huh?
Patience. We'll get to him eventually.
So what other current events can we talk about?
Yeah, let's talk about some Waymo. This
So-
one, just, preface everything before we talk about it. I mean, this one is scary for everybody.
Yeah.
It really is. If you're in the delivery industry, if you're in just kind of the driving industry, period.
Yeah. Yeah. So Waymo is a company that they basically did like the Google Drive. They're starting to introduce autonomous vehicles, so like freight for Tesla, all that stuff. They basically come up with all the programming, the software. And so Teamsters halt Waymo in San Francisco, autonomous vehicle company, caught in a lie at the Board of Supervisors meeting. It was a zoning appeal victory for the Teamsters union has effectively stopped the expansion of autonomous vehicles. Carmaker Waymo following a unanimous vote by San Francisco Board of Supervisors. So the board agreed with the union's claim that the company has not been forthright in its application to alter the use of a large distribution center in the city's industrial area. So basically, the hearing uncovered inconsistencies in the initial zoning application filed by Waymo, as well as newly discovered violations of municipal transit policy. The company told the Board of Supervisors they had no intention of engaging in parcel delivery at the hearing, but this was refuted when the Teamsters provided video evidence of Waymo leadership bragging about bringing parcel delivery to the city. So they basically said, "No, we won't use it for that shit," and then they're like, "Yeah, we're going to totally use it for that shit."
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's kind of like explain Waymo, right? They started with that Google Drive or whatever, but they're expanding into other operations.
Yeah, their
They're
whole
getting
goal
into-
is to basically eliminate the human driver.
Yeah.
So they wanted to eliminate human error.
They're getting into autonomous vehicles, which is coming, by the way. I mean, I know that, I don't know, if you watched the Jetsons, you would have thought we would have been in flying cars already. But
But at least he was still driving his car.
yeah, that's true.
He was still flying it.
But, you know,
Point, George.
he was still flying it.
they didn't see that far ahead, though. I mean, you got to think if they're we're on the road and we have a bunch of accidents, could you imagine in the air?
That's why that's literally why I don't think they're ever going to give us flying cars. That would be an industry specifically for, like, you have to have a special license, just like a pilot.
Oh, yeah, I would assume.
You'd have to. I mean, they're not going to let any asshole who can literally go have a couple of these and then crash a car into somebody's house, going like 500 miles an hour. What kind of damage is that going to do?
I mean, that can make them slow. It would relieve traffic.
Slow flying cars.
But back to back to the autonomous vehicle stuff. When we look at that in the delivery industry, for me, just thinking about it out loud, I mean, like package car drivers, even if the truck drove autonomously, now it would take a lot of the skill out of it, right? The truck drove autonomously, like how do they deliver that, like endpoint? Like how do they get that to the door? How do
They'd still need
so you would
they still need a runner.
Yeah, unless you have a robot that's going to pick that up and fucking
How
run
long
it
would
over
that
there.
take?
I'm just saying, I don't know. But that to your point, they would still need a driver, in my opinion. Now, where it gets scary, I think, is with like feeder drivers, right?
Yeah, that's terrifying.
I mean, they're just driving a big rig.
I mean, that's 80,000 pounds of like a destructive weapon. So any error there, I mean.
Oh yeah, for sure. And there are a lot of errors. I know they try to cover all of them up. They really do. But there's been errors with Teslas. There's been errors, with these autonomous vehicles where they just make a wrong turn, where they hit people. Yeah. I've seen a couple.
Sometimes they don't detect vehicles that are nearby.
Yeah, they didn't see some.
It's like something to do with the lines. Like there was an issue, like how we have lines that are scratched out, but they're scored out, but there's still technically a line there.
Yeah, yeah.
So sometimes it picks up on that and it reads it incorrectly, and the whole thing will shift.
And they have like their vehicle and people detection. There's been some issues with that. I think it's called like LiDAR or something.
In cars, lidar technology helps the vehicle sense and understand its surroundings. The technology uses laser pulses to create 3D mappings of its environment, including objects like buildings, roads, and other vehicles. This information is then combined with other data to ensure safe navigation.
It's not radar, but it's like LiDAR. I think it's called LiDAR. But yeah, there's been some issues with that where they've hit a couple people or turned the wrong way and
because then at that point it's like they're trying to eliminate human error, but I mean, if that's who are we supposed to blame at that point?
Everyone has computers. Computers crash every now and then.
Yeah, but it's different when a car takes out like a human life.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like
it's all autonomous,
I guess my point would be that even technology has glitches.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like nothing's perfect, so they're not going to eliminate anything permanently. I mean, like they're never going to completely eliminate errors.
Yeah,
it's just not
you're right.
feasible in my mind. I mean, even if say we get hit with an EMP or something crazy like that,
basically the whole industry shut down. Yeah,
everything, right? And if you're driving an autonomous vehicle, you're not driving. If you're sitting in an autonomous vehicle at
basically
the time,
fucked.
You're probably going to crash. But I mean, what do you think? Since you do feeder,
that's pretty really something to think about, because I think we kind of discussed this off camera. That would probably be the first
positions to go. Most
that
likely.
would be the first place they would go with that, because the guys that do sleepers or long runs, and not just within UPS, but in the trucking industry.
Yeah, the whole freight division.
General.
Everything.
Where they would have, we talked about a lead tractor that would follow. I mean, that would lead, and then the rest of the tractors would follow. I mean, it's pretty scary to think of. A lot of jobs would be lost. You know.
And I mean, I read that article. UPS already purchased 149, I believe, 149 Tesla models, and at this point, the capability of those was to tether, right? Like you were saying. Mm-hmm. So you'd have a lead driver, and then you could have, up to 6 tractors and trailers that just tether and follow you.
Yeah, and if those are
driving autonomously.
Yeah, if those were sleeper runs, that's 12 drivers there that aren't going to get paid. I mean,
there's so much behind that, though. I mean, because
there's a lot.
You think about just driving, let's just say here to Vegas. I mean, you got a long shot, but driving through the city, how do you do that? Getting on the freeway, the lights, the construction, high winds when they, all that stuff. A lot of tractors get flipped over, from high winds.
And at least right now, I think, as far as like law wise, there's still, and even Tesla agrees that there still needs to be somebody in the seat. So there would still be somebody in the seat, as far as, because of the law, there would have to be. But what we're talking about is like diminishing the skill it takes to do that job.
Yeah, because if someone just only has to sit there and technically doesn't need to drive, they're going to drop that pay down.
They've been doing, and we've discussed a lot of this on the show, but, which they've been doing with even the skills job, right? They brought in the PAL system, and then they're like, oh, well, we don't need skilled employees anymore, so we're going to remove that dollar, right? That dollar that you used to get at UPS for having a skilled job.
Knowing the zip codes. And
because it took more skill, and they're trying to do that with driving. They've brought in Orion, which sucks. We talked about that, which is our AI that kind of routes you.
And we have that new Diad 6 with the GPS.
Yeah, with GPS. They brought in GPS, which still kind of sucks. But eventually that technology will get to the point where it does diminish some of the skill that it takes to do these jobs. Now, how do we address that? And I've kind of always been a proponent of controlling implementation of those things. Like, give us a chance to catch up. If we do it all at once, where, say in the next 5 years, we're at the point where there's no skill really needed to do the job, then it gets scary.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It really does. It gets scary.
Yeah, it's like where the argument is, they're trying to eliminate these positions from the industry, right? Like a feeder, package driver. It's like, what are those people supposed to do for work? Like the argument, at least for some of the arguments I've heard, is that they can go to a different field, like move to like you're going to take somebody that's been driving for like 25 years. Think, all right, well now you got to become a computer software guy.
Did you just say learn to code? Learn to code.
Well, just learn the code. It's not hard. What are you talking about?
I don't know if anyone knows that reference, but learn to code. So, next up on the agenda.
Okay, so NRT school bus workers win strike in Marlboro. They ratify contracts. So workers secure first Teamster contract. So this is Marlboro, Massachusetts. Following a 3-day strike, bus workers at North Reading Transportation have overwhelmingly voted to ratify their first Teamster contract. These bus workers are represented by Teamsters Local 170 and provide student transportation for Marlboro Public Schools. The agreement covers 65 workers and includes wage increases, Teamsters 401k with company contributions and holiday attendance bonuses.
So they were newly
They
organized.
just
group.
newly organized, and they won their
Awesome.
they won their first.
Congratulations to you bus
Congratulations.
drivers out there in Massachusetts who
Yeah.
won a contract. Hope you're happy.
It actually maybe we can try and get them on too.
Yeah,
Just
we can
talk about it.
try to get a lot of people on.
I guess that one's more like just a update. There's not really a lot of controversy there. They won.
No, but that's
Ratification.
great, and it's kind of like I said, kind of follows the theme of what we're talking about is just us as laborers,
Yeah.
against corporate America trying, and I just see it everywhere, and I mean maybe it's just because I'm paying attention, but it just seems like it's coming. It's like snowballing, where companies don't want to pay more, and they are diminishing skill, like we were talking about in every aspect, really. I mean, even for stockers and and pickers in a warehouse. I know they have their warehouse standards. We talk about that.
Yeah.
At least at the local. I know we cover a lot of warehousemen, and they've been talking about that for a while about GWS or something. It's basically like warehouse standards. They're all tracked now. Everything's being monitored. They have to work at a certain pace, and they have time limits for everything.
Their time limits are pretty crazy.
But they have SKUs and all that stuff, right? So they know where stuff is in a bin. They know, all that stuff. So as they kind of diminish the skill it takes, and they start tracking everything, it not only it puts pressure on us because it takes less skill to do a job, and then also they want robots, and we're humans at the end of the day.
Yeah, they're like,
So
what
if
were you
stuff is
doing for
taking-
35 seconds right here?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you sound like your boss.
A little bit.
Like, hey, what were you sitting there for 2 minutes doing? Like, what? I was looking for a package. Well, why did it take you so long? The package was right there on the shelf. Like, okay, there's 400 packages in my truck, dude. What the?
That sounds just like him.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. We won't say his name. But we all have had managers like that, right?
Yeah.
What's taking you so long? Well, you keep talking. I'm going to take longer.
Basically. Yeah, basically.
But like I said, it kind of goes with the theme that, they just, corporate America, we're fighting against giants. We're here, the little guys, trying to protect the middle class. And it seems like there's a lot of that going on, and, and
I
not.
feel like the middle class is like diminishing at such a rapid pace, and it's skewing like a lot of like lower class and a lot of upper class.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Sure. And yeah, that whole middle class is kind of disappearing. There's not a lot of jobs anymore. And it's one of the things that I was super grateful for at UPS. It's kind of one of those middle class jobs. You make a fair wage.
Make a fair wage.
You're there. Now, granted, there's a shit ton of pressure, and you got to deal with a lot of stress and drama from management and whatnot.
But at the end of the day, it's a safe job, and it paid really well, and you get full benefits and stuff.
Yeah.
It's good.
it's all the things the Teamsters fought for.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that being said, it just there's a big fight on our hands. What do you think over there, Savas?
I'm hungry.
Oh, what are you gonna eat after this? Let's hear it.
No, I got another family party to go to. They have one like every week.
There you go.
Nice.
I don't know what they're having, but I'm sure it'll be something good.
I thought you'd be out at Super A's.
Oh yeah, I didn't get up early enough.
Shout out to Super A's, by the way. Super A's over there in Orange, right down the street from the hall.
Yeah.
The owner, Laura, she's super cool. If you guys have a chance to go out there, that place is delicious.
Yeah. It's super packed now on the weekends, though.
Yeah.
It's super packed.
Well, it's kind of like a small venue, but that's also kind of what makes it really cool. You know?
Yeah, pretty good, authentic Mexican food. So, yeah, no, that's what was going through my mind right now.
We're over here discussing the future of the labor movement.
And it's always like chorizo and eggs.
Something.
Carne asada.
Yeah, something. Yeah. Yeah, we'll look forward to having a guest on here next week.
Yeah, for sure. We got one lined up.
We do have one lined up for next week.
I'm excited.
Yeah, that's going to be a good episode.
Like I said, I just a word of encouragement to the labor movement. You know, we got to keep fighting. Like I said, we are fighting giants, but we really just got to keep on keeping on. Keep on fighting the good fight. Don't give up. We are going to be uncomfortable at times. We're going to be struggling, and we need to support each other. And, you know, we have the strength in numbers. So we always got to remember that. We got to stick together. You know, within union business, within all of it, there's politics and there's infighting and whatnot. We got to get over that. You know, when we have elections and stuff, we got to let the elections play out and then get on board and start, you know, continue the fight. So it's just kind of something I wanted to say. We really need to stay focused. Keep your eye on the prize. Yeah. It's not about the infighting or the BS. It's about the labor movement in general, winning those contracts, you know?
Definitely winning those contracts.
With that said, I guess, you know, it's going to be a little bit of a shorter episode this week. Hope you guys don't mind too much. I know that we, you know, kind of hover around about an hour and 10 minutes, but it'll be a shorter episode this week. Get ready for next week. We got a surprise guest, so we're excited. Other than that, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate the likes, shares, subscribes. Smash the like button. Hit the notification button so you know when we're releasing on YouTube. We're also on Spotify. Check us out on Instagram, ocst.952.
You can email us with questions, or if you want to maybe submit just videos, any topic really. You want to maybe, you know if somebody wants to organize, hit us up at ocst.000@gmail.com and just leave whatever you want in there.
Sabas? Fuck you.
Oh, Jesus.
See you guys next week.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I don't even get paid for this shit.
No, I'm just kidding. You want to close us out?
No, just see you guys next week, and you know, keep on the fight. And like I always say, you are the union, and invest in yourself.
There you go.
Invest in yourself.
See you guys next week.
See you next week.
Say hi.
How's it going?
What's up, guys? All right, as promised, I know it's late, but I just got done with the steward dinner, and I'm in my kids' room because they have the only desktop in the house. So, we are live. George, just so you know, guys, let's flip this around here. Here's all the names, all the entries. You guys are ready to rock and roll. All right, this first run is going to be a test run, so you guys can see this is not the winner, okay? So I just will run a test run just so you guys can see how it works. Boom.
It's just a wheel. I think they know how it works.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, okay? So Chris Gatt would have been the winner if we were live here, but this is not the official spin. Yeah, I'm not allowed to pull for anybody, Ryan, so we'll see. Your name's on here. We got a couple people with double entries. Just so you know, if you guys were following us on Instagram, you'll see that we did put up an opportunity for some extra entries, but here we go. Let's spin this thing and see what happens. There's people on here that aren't even entered. How fun.
Nice.
All right.
So here's for all the marbles. Here's for the jacket. Ready, George?
I'm ready.
All right. Here we go.
Wheel of morality. Turn, turn, turn. Tell us the lessons that we should learn.
There we go. We got a winner. Antonio Arizon. You are the official winner. So
That's awesome.
we'll email you, but you have won the Teamsters jacket.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. We will email you. I'm going to get off here and stop sounding like an idiot. So you guys have a good night, but thanks for playing. Thanks for tuning into the show. We appreciate you guys. Have a good night.